Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 3 of Personal Development Training Series. In the previous episode, we talked about inner world. In this episode, we are going to discuss subconscious. This is so important that only this episode can change your life. My name is Mohammad Reza Fathi, and I'm a life coach. What we do in life echoes in eternity. In this episode, we are going to discuss subconscious versus conscious. So let's begin. What is subconscious? Subconscious is related to mental processes that happen below the surface, what we are not aware about. On the conscious level, what we think about, what we focus on, what we choose to think about is happening on the conscious level. Whatever that happens below that surface is happening in a computer we call subconscious. Why is it so important? Because neuroscience has proved that everything you do is already made in your subconscious level before you even know it. It may sound strange, but it is true. Freedom of will is a myth. You have no freedom of will. Whatever is happening in your subconscious level. But don't worry, you can do something about it. The key point is whoever you are, whatever that has shaped you, is behind this computer. Whatever you've been through, your past experiences, whatever you did, whenever you gave up, whichever story you believed about yourself and other people has made up who you are. And this person that you are is influencing this computer. And there are ways to influence yourself and your personality. So let's talk about which parts does this subconscious have. Number one is emotional memory. Not only what happened, but how it felt. And another part is learned attributions. For example, if you were punished for showing honesty in the past, you may falsely attribute honesty with stupidity, with lack of reward, and you might want to lie sometimes because in the past you were not rewarded for honesty. And about emotional memory, when you were around people that loved you, you felt sense of belonging, and it is stored in your subconscious level. And how is it leading your life right now? Whenever you want to become partners with somebody, whenever you want to meet somebody, you are looking for that feeling that you had in the past, the feeling that you received from your parents, regardless of who they were. And who are you looking for right now? Your parents had the duty of taking care of you, but other people are not obligated to take care of you and provide emotional security for you. So it is highly important to know that our feelings, our memories are driving our decisions. Number two, beliefs, assumptions, and stories. Whatever we believe in ourselves, I'm valuable, I'm not valuable, this is how I see myself, this is how I see the world, this is how I see death, is stored in our subconscious level, and it's leading our life right now. For example, you might have some sense of lack of worth. This is what you should do right now. You should analyze this sense. Why do I feel a little bit low? Because I do not value myself. Why do I not value myself? Because in the past, in the school, in my childhood, people used to call me names. So just people called me names, does it mean that I'm worthless? You see, there is a freedom that happens when you challenge everything. There's something very important you need to learn. Stopping and wondering and questioning everything you think is some sort of freedom. Whatever you think is not reality. Your thoughts are only perceptions, that most of them are made up in your subconscious level. You don't choose to think this way. Another part is stories. You see, there is what happened, and on the other hand, there is this story you tell about yourself. There's a story you perceive. There's a story that you believe about that physical reality. For example, when you were a kid, people had abnormal expectations from you. Now, the story that you believe about that reality is that whatever I do, I'm not enough, that my efforts are meaningless. No matter who I am, no matter how much I try, I cannot succeed. The part that I cannot succeed is the story that you believe about that thing, about that memory. Another example, you call somebody and they don't recall. You call somebody and they don't answer. What do you think? That person is ignoring me. That person is not valuing what I'm about to say. So the thing that happened, is that phone rang, but the person didn't pick up. But the story that you believe is that I'm worthless, is that person is ignoring me. Another example, someone criticizes you. What happened is that someone criticized you. But the story you believe about that thing, about that reality is that person is ungrateful. That whatever I do, people won't like me. I'm going to be criticized anyway. I'm not enough. The second part is story. You see, our mind is a story making machine. So we need to separate reality from the story that our mind produces because our life is moving with these stories. There's a saying in the Stoics, it goes, I don't believe that every thought is true. Let every thought proves itself. I need to install a gate as a filter. So when every thought comes up, I'm going to talk to it. Come to me. Who are you? What are you going to tell me? Next part in the subconscious level is habits and repetitive patterns, such as walking, writing, eating. This is actually a bliss. Whatever you do is stored in your subconscious, so you don't have to learn it every time. You shouldn't learn cooking, talking on a daily basis. It sounds stupid. You have to learn life every day? No. So there's a good part in our subconscious level that whatever we do, it stores it. But on the other hand, it can become a curse. When you develop habits, you also develop identity around those habits. And after a while, you think that life is only an extension of those habits. For example, you have the habit of postponing your plannings to another time and procrastinating whenever you want to do something. So you realize that you are not strong enough to make a strong decision for yourself. You are an employee and you want to improve your financial situation. You are not a reader. So you have developed the habit of not reading. So you need to become free of those habits. Don't believe your habits are fixed. You are flexible. You can become whoever you want. You need to choose a target. You need to choose a goal to become another person. You need to change your habits. Having the freedom of not believing everything you think about your identity and your future is very crucial to your success. Next part is emotional responses. Whatever response that is shaped inside us is made in subconscious level. Why is it so important to know this? Because whatever we feel, we believe a story about it. For example, you are afraid of losing your money. And whenever you think about that fear, you derive an identity from it. You are afraid of losing your money and you call yourself a coward. So, fearing of losing that money is the reality that is happening inside you, and the story you believe about yourself is happening in your subconscious level. You are not a coward. You are right to be afraid to lose your money. Everything you feel is just happening automatically. You grow hair, you get hungry. These are automatic. Whatever you feel is happening in your subconscious level. You can't control it. So you need to forgive yourself about so called negative feelings. Someone leaved you in the past, you had a broken relationship. Yes, you are okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You may feel abysmal, you may feel sad. Those feelings are completely natural, and there is nothing supernatural, to believe about those feelings. Next part is desires and motivations. Hidden fears and desires. Motivations such as belonging, security, status, and pleasure. And also conflicting desires such as wanting success or fearing of failure. So let's talk about this. We humans are afraid of being rejected. We fear of being left alone. But when we fear this, we call ourselves weak. So calling yourself weak is your perception of what is happening in your subconscious level. You should, on the other hand, say this: I'm a social animal. This is how I'm designed. This is how I'm supposed to live. So, if I'm afraid of being left alone, I have the right to do so. There's nothing wrong with me. You want admiration, but you're afraid to admit it. You're afraid to take the necessary steps to become a successful person, to seek admiration. If you think about wanting attention and wanting admiration, you might call yourself proud, Machiavellian, because we have been taught by the society that people who want attention are not good. You should take a back seat. You should not take risks. You should not be courageous. You should be a timid person. Drives such as pleasure. When you think about pleasure and taking care of yourself, it gives you sense of guilt. You think you are guilty for wanting pleasure. While on the other hand, it is so natural. It is so human to want pleasure. Also, we're going to talk about conflicting desires. There's a huge gap that happens in every person's life. Everyone wants success, but they're also afraid of failure. When you realize that this is happening in your subconscious, you won't call yourself names. This is just happening in your mind. The gap between success, between wanting material stuff and personal growth, and the fear of failure is happening in your subconscious, and it is manageable. Because when you want success and you don't move towards it, you call yourself lazy and a loser. So, what you need to do is to manage this matter. You want success, but you're afraid? Okay, first of all, grab a pen and write your definition of success. Next days, develop a plan. For the next months, work on yourself so that you become the type of person that can achieve that success. So this gap is bridged within years and months. You cannot become successful without changing who you are. If you are a mother and you have 2 kids, you want success, but you're afraid. So you need to write down, what situation am I in? What do I want? How can I get it? And do not call yourself a coward, undisciplined, nothing. There's nothing wrong with you. Next, most important tip is that our subconscious is highly impacting our decisions. We are not making our decisions. We are becoming aware of the decisions that is made in subconscious level. It may sound strange, but it is true. You may have disrespected your parents. Okay, let's think about it. Let's discuss it. This decision was made in your subconscious level. It was automatic. You didn't deliberately want to break somebody's heart. So the lesson is we need to understand ourselves. We need to be kind ourselves. So the lesson is we need to be kind with ourselves. We need to be kind towards other people. We have subconscious and also they have subconscious. Whatever that people do to you, do not take it personal. If your boss criticizes you and acts bossy, its subconscious is making those decisions. And whatever you want to do, this is how you repeat to yourself what type of person I need to become in order to achieve the things that I want. Do you know why do you call yourself names? Because mind does not like to think. It consumes a lot of energy. Thinking produces friction. Friction takes energy. So whatever happens in your mind, whatever happens in your life, you need to analyze it. You need to stop taking results so quickly and accepting them. Stop, think about those results, think about those conclusions. One of the most important applications of subconscious is our relationships. Unsolved traumas of our childhood period has a high impact on who we are attached to and who we are attracted to in later years of our life. When you were a kid, if you had controllers as parents, if you had parents who criticized you, who told you everything you need to know, who took care of you. So as a child, you become attracted to people who are wild and free. This is important to know because in the future, the person who is right for you is not necessarily the person you're attracted to. You might be attracted to somebody who is going to ruin your life. And the final part of our episode, how do we solve this? How do we manage it? How do we impact our subconscious level? It's not that hard, so I'm going to give you a promise. If you listen very carefully, you're going to have a very successful life using our tips. As I promised you, your life is going to be divided to before and after following Fatih Academy. As I've mentioned, all you need to think about is that what type of person I need to become to impact my life, to have a successful career, to have a loving relationship. For example, you are in a relationship and you are not good enough. That relationship is not working. Instead of saying, I'm worthless, I can't do anything, ask yourself these questions. What type of person I need to become? I need to become more humble. I need to become more patient. I need to listen more often. I have 2 ears, so I can listen twice, as much as I talk. If you continuously take practical steps towards becoming a better person, you are going to impact your future by becoming a stronger person and programming your subconscious. And we have tips that helps you in this process. One of the main things that you can do to impact your character and personality is journaling. Journaling is one of the main subjects of Fatih Academy. What is a journal? A journal is a notebook or a group of papers that you carry with yourself in order to lead your life. You see, there are so many variables in life. There are so many thoughts. Where are they recorded? Where are they classified? Where are they formalized? So we need a notebook and we need a group of papers that we use to journal our life. So I'm going to give you an example. You have a decision to make. Every time you think about the decision, because you don't use papers, you say, okay, this decision is so far from me, I'm going to do it later. You procrastinate and you call yourself a coward, a lazy person, a loser. So next time you have a decision to make, you want to run a business, you want to quit your job, you want to quit your relationship, you want to enter another relationship, whatever you want to do, there's a decision you have to make. Okay, write it down. This is a decision I'm going to make. I'm going to run a business. Why do I want it? This is why I want it, for security, for financial freedom. Okay, what am I good at? What are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? How can I run a business around these weaknesses and strengths? Because I've told you, without self knowledge and without personal development, you shouldn't do anything serious in your life before working on yourself. First of all, am I strong enough? Write it down. Am I strong enough to run a business? No. How can I become strong enough? You see, when you think in terms of papers, when you think in writing, when you develop the habit of journaling, you enter a whole new life. Another example, everyone has problems in their lives. But normal people usually only think about their problems and suffer. But I'm going to give you a tip, a solution out of this matrix. Write down every single problem that you have in a shape of a solvable matter, of a solvable issue. Then in front of it, write down every solution you can think about that problem. And within the course of your life, try to apply those solutions to your life. You see, when you don't love yourself, you think about it and you just move on, and the problem goes on and on and on. But when you write it down, okay, how can I love myself more than I do right now? This is the problem. This is how I solve it. Love yourself by taking a diet. Love yourself by developing discipline. Love yourself by saying no. When you write it down, you develop solutions. Following those solutions is the only way to solve that problem. Not thinking about it, not suffering. You don't need to suffer. You don't need to um, consume yourself. Just grab a piece of paper, problems, solutions, actions. That's it. That's why I say people in the world are divided into two main groups, people who journal and people who don't. We have a specific topic about journaling that you need to listen to. And I advise everyone to grab a journal and write down every single thing about their life, about their personality, about their problems, about their decisions in that journal. And another helpful tip about working on our subconscious is the present moment. You need to develop the habit of focusing on the present moment. You see, when you are in the present moment, thoughts disappear. Where are the stories now? Where are the learned attributions? Where are the mental processes? Nowhere. When you focus on the present moment, you are actually living. This is a huge topic, present moment, and we are going to talk about it later. Make sure you also listen to my episodes about present moment. And the final part is empowering your will. How do I strengthen my will? By discipline, by saying no, by not believing bad things about yourself, by physical activity, by martial arts, by believing in yourself, by doing hard stuff. This is also another topic that is so great, but it's not about listening. You need to be practical about it. If you want to influence your life, you need to influence your subconscious. If you want to influence your subconscious, you have to impact yourself. So from now on, say to yourself, I'm going to be a strong person by not taking criticizing, by not taking criticism personally. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to be the absolute best of myself from now on. What we do in life echoes in eternity. I hope to see you guys in the next episode.